The news day continues here on One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. Tributes across the globe continue to pour in for the late Queen Elizabeth II of the United Kingdom. Let's talk more about this. We have this afternoon Mr. Chris Nelson. He's Executive Director of the British Chamber of Commerce Philippines. He's joining us via Zoom. Sir, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for the invite.
Sir, would like to know, on a personal note, just so we could get to know the late Queen Elizabeth more, were you able to have that opportunity to meet her, perhaps work with her directly?
I didn't have unfortunately, I never had the opportunity to work directly. We did meet with Princess Anne, who's her daughter, who visited the Philippines some years ago. However, as the British Chamber, we've been closely associated with the Queen. On a personal note, it's the only monarch I've known. She's obviously reigned over the country now for 70 years, has been a great figure, has been an icon, and frankly, we thought she would be forever. Of course, that very sadly cannot happen, but her legacy can be summed up very simply as just great service to the country, to the greater nation, the Commonwealth, and for all her work. It's a huge loss for the UK.
To non-Brits, Sir Nelson, perhaps the royal family mainly served as a face of the British monarchy, but beyond that, what would you say is the Queen's legacy or her lasting impact to outside or to countries outside the UK?
Well, I think you've got to look at the history of the Queen. I mean, she ascended the throne in 1952. She was there during the Second World War. Obviously, it was her father, King George VI. She's seen a whole host of history go over time in those 70 years. She was very active in reaching out to the Commonwealth nations and developing a very good relationship with them. This, of course, was in the post-war period when obviously those countries are getting independence, but nonetheless, they remain and had great affection for her. And of course, all her charity works. I mean, she is the patron of numerous charities. She does a lot of support. And she has seen through her time 15 prime ministers. So you can see that legacy of time. I mean, only 2 days ago, she was there to begin the acceptance of our new prime minister, Liz Truss. So she's done 15. So her contribution to countries as she did numerous visits across the world and really connected with people and obviously kept that connection, particularly with the Commonwealth.
Let's talk about that, sir. Her contributions you mentioned on the business side of things. Would you say she's also had an impact when it comes to British business and commerce?
Well, for sure. I mean, obviously, she's also obviously supported, and you get the stamp of royal approval for certain products. And I think she stood out. And as the UK and Great Britain has made its way, as I said, through these times, having that stamp of approval, having the royal family and having her connections has proved very important. I mean, I think it's a great note for companies when they get the royal approval. But nonetheless, she's also been very supportive of the overall drive, obviously in terms of the UK, in terms of its business, its trading. And, her support is encompassing. It goes across all aspects of UK life, both business as well as obviously cultural, and of course in terms of all her charity works, which are outstanding.
Well, final question, sir. What should Filipinos in the UK residing there and the Commonwealth countries expect following the Queen's death?
Well, I think first of all, there's always been a very good, close relationship between the UK and the Philippines. Once again, I'll say thank you to President Marcos for his very moving tribute to the Queen. This was, I believe, the 75th year of diplomatic relations between the two countries. We've always had very good ties, connections, of course, between the two countries. We've obviously very much welcome all the support of Filipino workers, particularly obviously in the health sector, which was very important all times, but particularly during the pandemic. We've seen a lot of growth in terms of trade and investment, and that's work done by ourselves, of course, and the British Embassy here, led by Ambassador Laure Beaufils. And we look forward, and we work closely with the Philippine Embassy in London, who's now just been appointed, and we'll have a new ambassador, Ambassador Locksid, who, of course, we also welcome and work with. So I think the Philippines will see even more and increasing continuing relationships. And I think that I would just like to say and give my best wishes, and obviously at this very sad moment, but also give my best wishes to the future success of King Charles III, who is the new monarch. And I'm sure he will also continue to be supportive. But once again, we've lost a great queen, a great monarch, and we honor her contributions. But the relationships and the work she has done will continue to last, I'm sure, forever.
Well, thank you, sir, for sharing with us your time and your insights. That BCCP Executive Director, Mr. Chris Nelson.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.